Hey guys, SpinoDude here and welcome back to another review. Today guys, we're back in the #HowASafari campaign for a look at another brand new 2019 Safari Ltd figure. So let's have our co-host Marvin bring it out. Thank you, Marvin. Alrighty guys, so we're going to be taking a look at this brand new 2019 figure. This is the 2019 Safari Ltd Citipati. And this is one of the figures that was sent to Kayakasaurus early. If you guys remember back in August, I believe it was, myself, Bioniclesaurus, and Kayakasaurus got a mystery package from Safari Ltd, and inside each of them were two brand new 2019 figures. I got the Carnotaurus and the Woolly Rhino, Kayakasaurus got the Citipati here and the Styracosaurus, and Bioniclesaurus got the Camarasaurus and the Prostosuchus. So I'm really excited to be able to take a look at this figure today. As always, a massive thank you to Safari Ltd for sending this figure out to the channel for the #HowISafari campaign. I cannot wait to take a closer look at this guy. But before we jump into the review guys, here are a few quick little facts about Citipati itself. This animal's full name is Citipati osmulski. Citipati itself means funeral pyre lord. A most interesting name, I have to say. It was an oviraptorid theropod from the Cretaceous period of what is now Asia. Now without doubt, the most famous oviraptorid has to be Oviraptor itself. But a most interesting fact that some people may not know is that we don't know what kind of crest Oviraptor had on its head. So all of the reconstructions of Oviraptor that are out there are basically just Citipati. So most of the time we're just looking at a Citipati that's being called an Oviraptor. Citipati is also one of the larger Oviraptorids, growing up to about 8 feet long. So anyway guys, there are some quick facts about Citipati itself. And first of all, before we even talk about the figure, huge round of applause to Safari for actually calling this figure a Citipati. This is technically a remake of their old Carnegie Oviraptor figure, but Citipati is what it should be correctly addressed as, because like I said, we don't know what kind of crest Oviraptor had. And another thing, this thing is massive. I wasn't expecting it to be this big in person. I thought it was going to be slightly larger than the Anzu from Safari, but let's actually bring out the Anzu here quickly. Let's scoot this guy over. And the Anzu, as you can see, is absolutely dwarfed by the Citipati. I have to say, I kind of wish that these guys were in a similar scale with each other, because it would be cool to have a collection of Safari Oviraptorids of similar size, but I do kind of like that they're giving the Citipati its own unique size as well. It definitely stands out in the collection, especially with its striking color scheme. Also quickly, I thought I'd bring out the Safari Ltd Cassowary. Whenever I review an Oviraptorid on the channel, I always like to bring up the Cassowary because the crest on these animals are all very, very similar. Whoops, there goes the Anzu. There we go, balance there, buddy. But you can see how... Oh my goodness, no, please stand. There we go, thank you. But you can see how these distant relatives here all share very similar head ornamentation, especially between the Cassowary and the Anzu. But I always like to bring out a modern day bird like the Cassowary, or bring it up in a review when I'm talking about Oviraptorids, because they are just so similar to each other. So the first thing I'd like to chat about here with the Citipati is its very striking coloration. I really like what they did with the coloration. I have to be honest and say that I wasn't too fond of it at first, but after sitting with it for a while, this thing looks awesome. Very naturalistic, and the coloration definitely reminds me of a waterfowl, especially with the, whoops, sorry there buddy, that, I did not mean to do that. Especially with the white banding around the eye here, and the green on the neck and the shoulders, and the top of the wings, or the forelimbs there. It reminds me of a speckled eider. I do have to say the one thing I'm not a fan of in the color scheme is that the beak is the same color as the brown feathers on the face, and the brown feathers throughout the rest of the body, like this sienna brown color. I would have liked if the green carried up from the neck into the bottom of the cheek area and around the ear and everything here. I think it still looks pretty nice. We also have some light blue on the wings and the white on the wings there, which definitely makes them stand out. I really like that addition, a little bit of a flare of color on the wings there. And I really like how the brown on the back of the animal here is dry brushed in this sienna brown color. That's probably my favorite area of detailing on the entire figure, because these feathers really look fluffy and floofy or whatever. But anyway, that's enough chat about the color scheme. Let's zoom in and take a closer look at the detail on this figure. Zooming in. Zooming in. There we go. I didn't go too far that time. Anyway, so the feathers are beautifully sculpted, as you can see on the wing. You have all the primary and secondary feathers here. You can see the claws. If you look on the underside of the wing, you can see the third claw tucked away there and covered in feathers. Wings are beautifully done. They are a little bit chunky, but that's probably for stability reasons, so they won't break off, so I'm okay with that. Feathering detail on the backside of the animal here is beautifully done. I also really like the way the feet look. Very bird-like. You can see the claws are done in a black color there, and there's some nice scales that are carved out or stamped on the bottom of the feet there. The tail has a beautiful fan of feathers. I absolutely love the shaping here, and I like how it's sort of narrow at the base of the tail and it really just fans out. Very bird-like, and I think that just looks really pretty. I also really like the chest and the underbelly on the Citipati here. Very fluffy, reminds me of a modern day bird without a doubt. And then moving up the neck into that beautifully done head sculpt. I love how the eye is done in that bold red color. Really makes it stand out. The black bordering the beak and everything looks quite nice as well. Again, I really like that white banding around the eye. Really makes the head stand out. The beak is also quite nicely done. You can see the nostrils carved out there. The interior of the mouth has been sculpted and painted in a fleshy pink color, and you can see the two prominent teeth that most Oviraptorids are known for having. Also on this side of the animal, I quite like how this wing is tucking into the body a little bit. There is a little bit of red paint from the eye that got splotched on the wing there. That's a little bit unfortunate, but it's not too obvious to me. And because it's red paint, you could say that it's a feather stained in blood or something. But that's pretty much it for details, but let's have our co-host Marvin bring out the flexi ruler now so we can give this figure a measure, because I actually forgot to do that earlier when we did the comparison, because this thing is really big. It quite surprised me. Alright Marvin, bring it out. Thank you, Marvin. Alright, we've got our trusty flexi ruler now, so let's give the Citipati a measure. So in terms of length, from the tip of the beak to the tip of the tail feathers, we are looking at about 7 inches, which is about 19 centimeters. And in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the top of the head there, we are looking at about 4¼ inches, which is about 11 centimeters. So yeah, overall, I think this is a very well done figure. Definitely up there on my list for Safari's 2019 releases. I absolutely love the coloration. Again, reminds me of a speckled eider, which is one of my favorite species of waterfowl. And let's just bring out the Anzu here and the Cassowary for the outro quickly. And would I recommend getting this figure? Definitely would, especially if you're a fan of bird-like dinosaurs like this. The feathering detail is absolutely spot on, absolutely covered in feathers. It looks gorgeous. And I gotta give Safari props for calling this figure a Citipati instead of an Oviraptor. Well, my camera just ran out of battery, but it's okay, we're back. But anyway guys, if you want to get these figures for yourself, you can do so at amazon.com/SafariLtd or go to www.safariltd.com and use the coupon code SpinoDude, that's SpinoDude, to get 10% off your next order. Big thank you to Safari Ltd for sending their brand new Citipati over to the channel. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like down below and subscribe. Also leave a comment telling me what you think of this Citipati figure. So thank you so much guys for watching, and as always I will see you in my next video. So take care, and bye bye.